that one word. Prologue. Breathe in and out. In and out. Mom pauses and smiles. You've got this, she says in a calming voice as she strokes my hair. This is my first audition, and I have never been more nervous in my life. I have to book this role. Mom says that if I don't, we will lose our house and starve. I can't be responsible for my family's poverty. Lila Skywater? A voice calls from the audition room. Good luck, sweetheart, my mom says with a big smile and then kisses the top of my head. I can see a look of both excitement and concern in her dark eyes. I have to book this role. I have to. As I walk in, I can feel my shirt stick to my underarms with sweat. I hate that I'm a nervous sweater. I make a mental note to not raise my arms during this audition. I walk to the center of the room as confidently as I can pretend to be. I stop in front of the table where the director and casting crew sit. The director scowls, and it seems he's been unimpressed thus far. I can't imagine how I could be any better than anyone else that's already gone. At this point, I feel like I could barf. One of the ladies on the casting crew smiles at me warmly, which calms my nerves slightly, but only slightly. Lila Skywater, the director says with a smirk as he reads my name from the paper in front of him. That's got a nice ring to it. I could see this being the name of a star. Show me what you got, kid, he says almost condescendingly. The slight ease of nerves is instantly diminished, and the nausea returns. I want to dart out the door and never see any of these people ever again. But I know I have to at least try. For Mom. I breathe in and begin. Sparky, no! I scream in a high-pitched voice of terror. I run across the room and collapse to my knees and scoop up an invisible dog. Please don't die, Sparky. Please, I say softly to the invisible dog in my arms. A tear rolls down my cheek purely from my sheer nervousness. But apparently the director loves it. He stands and applauds. That was fantastic, he exclaims. He almost seems excited, but still does not smile. You may be getting a callback, dear, he says with a wink. I've gone from kid to dear, so I suppose that's good. I should feel more at ease now that it's over, especially since it went so much better than I anticipated. But instead, I'm even more nervous now. It almost would have been better had it gone bad. It would be over and done with. But now, I have to worry about whether or not I'll get a callback. And if I do, whether or not I'll get the part. A week passed. The phone rang. My mother answered. Yes? Yes, she questions and exclaims. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful, she shrieks with excitement. Lila, you got the part, she calls to me excitedly. What? I ask confused. I haven't even had a callback yet. How could I have the part? There's no need for a callback. They said you were so good that you were the only option for the part, she replies. I'm overwhelmed with excitement, nerves, and disbelief. I'm not sure why I got the part, and I don't see how my nerves will ever allow me to actually perform in the film. But I can save my family from poverty now, and that's all that matters. Lila, Mom calls, and I snap back to reality. The casting director wants to talk to you. She hands me the phone, and my heart starts pounding. Hello? I say in a weak, shaky voice. Lila, a female voice responds cheerfully. I conclude that this must be the smiling woman at the table when I auditioned. I know your mother told you the exciting news, but I want to make sure that you actually want to do this. Your mother has given permission for you to accept, but I want to ask you, do you accept this role? I breathe deeply. Part of me wants to decline it because I'm absolutely terrified. However, I know my mom is counting on me. Yes, I reply, with all the fake confidence I can muster. That single 3-letter word would change my life forever. Chapter 1. Cut! That's a wrap. Excellent work as always, Lila, Director Swanson says to me as he tips the brim of his baseball cap towards me. The filming of the first season of my new show, Kyle and Kinsey, wrapped today, and I could not be more excited. This is my first starring role, and Maxwell McKenna, my co-star, is super cute. As if on cue with my thoughts, Maxwell walks up to me, and my heart races as his sandy curls bounce while he walks towards me. Great job today, Lila, he says with a confidence and coolness I could only ever wish to achieve. Thanks. You too, I say, trying to match his coolness but failing, as I feel my face go red with embarrassment. I was wondering, he says, looking into my eyes with his of deep green. I have to look away. Would you want to grab dinner sometime? You're super cool, and I'd love to get to know you better, he finishes with a smirk on his face. I am astounded. Maxwell McKenna wants to go on a date? With me? Yeah, of course, I'd love to, I stammer, not even trying to be cool because there is absolutely no way for me to be cool in this moment. Cool. I'll pick you up. Saturday at 7, he says with a wink and walks away, not even giving me a chance to respond. After taking a few seconds to gather myself and my thoughts, I dash to the dressing room to tell my mom what just happened. Well, I don't know how I feel about this, Mom replied. I mean, you're 14 and he's 19. Oh, come on, Lana, my agent says cheerfully to my mom. That's only a 5-year difference, and besides, they're both still teenagers. And think about it. It would be such great publicity if the stars of the hottest kids sitcom were dating, my agent says with a sparkle in her eye. Well, I suppose you're right, Cassie, Mom responds. Of course I'm right, Cassie says. Kyle and Kinsey is successful, but the more popular it becomes, the more popular Lila becomes. And the more popular Lila becomes, the more casting directors will seek her out for future projects. It was one date. That's all it took for the rumors to fly. Every website and news magazine to ever exist has our picture on the front page with a cheesy headline. Max took me to Lovillo, the most expensive Italian restaurant in Hollywood. It was hard to enjoy the date because cameras were flashing the whole time. I was expecting Max to tell the paparazzi to get lost, but it almost seemed as if he was enjoying it. To be honest, it was a pretty awful date. Hey, Lila, Max says with a wink. It's been a week since our date, and this is the first time he's spoken to me since. I had a great time last week, he says. Yeah, me too, I lie. Want to go out again this weekend? He asks with so much confidence. It's clear he's never been rejected. Well, actually, I stammer. I had fun, but I didn't really feel a connection. I'm sorry. Max glares at me, and his smirk changes to a scowl. It wasn't a question, Lila. We're going on another date, he snaps. But I don't want to, I snap back. Well, I don't want to either, Lila. That date was hell for me too. You think I want to be seen with a little 14-year-old when I could be with a hot 20-year-old? He replies, turning red. What? I say, tears forming. I don't understand. Lila, I've been in the business a lot longer than you, he says, a bit calmer. And publicity relationships are part of it. This is a cutthroat industry, and you have to do whatever it takes to keep your name amongst the most talked about and the most adored. And one way of doing that is PR relationships. Well, I don't care. I can remain relevant by my talent. I don't need a stupid PR relationship, I respond, growing angrier by the second. Okay, Lila, Max says, abnormally calm. If you don't go through with this relationship, I'll tip every paparazzi I can find about what happened in the back of my car after that date. But you have no proof, I say, feeling the tears form again. Doesn't matter, he says, with his stupid little smirk back on his face. Paparazzi doesn't need proof. They'll take one rumor from one anonymous source, not caring whether it's true or not, and plaster it everywhere. Then Hollywood's sweet little child star's career will be ruined. My stomach drops. I already feel insanely guilty for what happened. The only reason I did it was because Max asked if I was a virgin and then started making fun of me when I said I was. I know he's right, though. My career will be over. Fine, I snap, tears filling my eyes now. I'll continue this fake relationship. Just please don't tell anyone about that. Glad you've come to your senses, Lila, Max says, rolling his eyes as he starts to walk away. I hate you, I yell as he leaves. Feelings mutual, he yells back, not even turning around. Chapter 2. As if this fake relationship with Max wasn't making me miserable enough, Mom and Cassie are now making me spend 2 hours at the gym every day and making me eat a carb and sugar-free diet. I've learned recently that I'm a stress eater, and I've never been more stressed in my life than I am with this stupid relationship. Mom and Cassie said that I put on a few pounds and that's bad for my image. Skinny actresses are employed actresses, Cassie said to me. I know she's right, but now I have this added stress of making sure I'm skinny enough to book roles. The final season of Kyle and Kinsey will begin filming soon, so I have to start looking for new roles now. Luckily, though, that means I can also end this fake relationship with Max soon. My stress eating has turned to stress vomiting. I vomit every time I eat, but it's okay because it's keeping me skinny. And I have a few callbacks already, so clearly Mom and Cassie were right. Kyle and Kinsey is finally over. I can end this relationship with Max, and I'm down to 90 pounds. I'm the happiest I've been in a while. Hey, Max, I call to him after we wrap the final episode. How are we gonna end this thing? Can we just give an anonymous tip that we broke up and call it quits? Lila, one day you'll learn how to do good publicity. He speaks to me as if I'm an idiot. It's not that easy. We have to stay together until after the show comes out to keep its publicity up. If Lilac's shippers are mad that we broke up, they won't watch it. We have to stay together at least 2 months after the show's release. I feel dizzy. I can't tell if it's because I have to continue this relationship even longer or because I haven't eaten in 12 hours. It's fine though. I'm about to meet up with my best friend Serenity, and she always knows how to help me calm down. I met Serenity Sterling a couple years ago when she guest starred on an episode of Kyle and Kinsey. We were instantly best friends. Hey girl! Ooh, looking skinny, Serenity says to me in a sing-songy voice as I enter her Beverly Hills mansion. Her dad, Sebastian Sterling, is a seasoned actor himself. Serenity grew up in Hollywood, and she has been a great mentor in helping me figure out life in Hollywood. Thanks, Ren, I reply cheerfully. I join her on her massive sofa in her massive living room. You look tense, love, Serenity says, her smile turning to a look of concern. Let's let off some steam, she says, her smile returning. She pulls a small plastic bag out of her $2,000 purse, and she couldn't pull it out fast enough. One hit, and I'm already so much more at ease. So lie, Serenity says to me after exhaling a cloud of smoke. There's this super fun party happening at Blair Brentwood's place tomorrow night. You should come. I'm down, I reply. But my mom can't know. She hates Blair and her teenage horror music, as she calls it, I say doing air quotes. Blair is only the biggest pop star on the planet right now, and I would absolutely go behind my mom's back to meet her. Ha! Your mom is so lame, Serenity says before taking another hit. Yeah, speaking of that, I say, trying to ignore the slight offense I took on behalf of my mom. Can I spend the night here tonight? If my mom smells weed on my clothes or even notices a hint of red in my eyes, she'll freak. Yeah, sure, Serenity says. You can borrow some of my clothes for the party anyway. Nothing you have is slutty enough. Chapter 3. You look hot, Serenity says as I stare at myself in the mirror. I hate how short my skirt is and how much of my stomach and chest are showing. I feel embarrassed at the thought of being seen in public like this. I might as well be in my underwear. Yeah, I say with a fake smile because I can't let Serenity know I feel this way. Alright, let's go, Serenity says after applying one final layer of bright pink lip gloss. My stomach churns as we pull up to Blair's $1 million mansion. The bass from the music inside the house shook my car as we pulled up. I drove because Serenity plans on, as she said, getting absolutely wasted tonight. Besides, this is my first big celebrity party, so I need to show I'm worthy to attend by pulling up in my new G-Wagon. As Serenity and I walk in, I start to feel nauseous. I'm terrified. I don't belong here. Everyone is so glamorous, and I'm just average. I look over at Serenity, her long blonde waves falling perfectly over her shoulders. Lie, Serenity says quietly but sharply as she jabs her bony elbow into my side, pulling me out of my head and back to reality. There's Lincoln James. You should talk to him. You guys will be so cute together, she says excitedly. Well, I'm still supposed to be in this stupid fake relationship with Max, I reply, hoping that would be enough for Serenity to drop the idea, but knowing it isn't. Yeah, but the whole lilacs thing will be over soon. You might as well have one in the glass case ready to break out when it's over, she replies with a grin. Okay, but I wouldn't even know what to say. I've never met him before. I'm not even sure he knows who I am. And what if he does? I'm supposed to be dating Max. He's gonna think I'm trying to cheat on Max, I say, flustered and increasingly more anxious by the second. Lila, Serenity says as she lightly touches my shoulder, you're thinking too much. You need to relax. Let's hit the bar, and then you can go talk to him once you loosen up some, she says with a wink. I can't drink, I say a lot harsher than I intend to. I have to drive us home. Just have a few, just enough to loosen you up to talk to Lincoln. You'll still be sober enough to drive. Trust me, I do it all the time, she says as casually as she would say that her favorite color is blue. Look, she says in a more serious tone after sensing that I'm still not on board with her idea. Whether it's Lincoln or not, you're gonna have to find someone to hang out with tonight, because I plan on hanging out with Ben Bronson all night. Ben Bronson, I say confused. The guy from that super cheesy rom-com that came out a few months ago? Yes, he's super cute. We've been hardcore flirting on Instagram, and tonight is the perfect opportunity to actually make a move, she says excitedly. Fine, I say, slightly frustrated. I'll loosen up some and talk to Lincoln. That's my girl, Serenity says, squeezing my shoulder. I'm slightly annoyed because Serenity is the only reason I even came to this party. I don't know anyone else here. Why would she even invite me if she wanted to hang out with Ben all night? There he is, Serenity says in a sing-songy voice. I'll catch you later, she says quickly, then runs over to Ben, leaving me alone at the bar. What'll it be, sweetheart? An older man with thin gray hair and gray stubble says from behind the bar. I've never drank in my life, and I know nothing about alcohol. I can't let anyone know that, though. Vodka, I reply, saying the first alcoholic beverage that came to my mind. You want a shot? He says back. Yes, I say, because I don't know what else to say. He pours the shot and hands it to me. Here you go, sweetheart, he says with a wink, which makes me slightly uncomfortable. I take the shot, which tries to immediately come back up, but I force it to stay down. Note to self, I don't like vodka. Now I have to figure out how to talk to Lincoln, because I cannot just hang out at this party alone. Hey, a voice says from behind me. I turn around and see a tall, olive-skinned guy with dark eyes and black curls. I'm Lincoln, he says. I don't think we've met. Well, that was easy. I'm Lila, I say, sticking my hand out for a handshake, then immediately realizing how dorky that is. He shakes my hand and flashes his perfect white smile. I'm starting to think that maybe Serenity was onto something with the whole Lincoln thing. Can I get you a drink? He says. Sure, I reply with a smile, trying so hard not to blush. What would you like? He asks. Surprise me, I say, once again trying to avoid looking like a loser who doesn't drink alcohol. You got it, he says with a smile and walks towards the bar. I stand awkwardly as I wait for him to come back. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone. I hate crowds, and I'm not a huge fan of loud music either. I feel really out of place. I feel like everyone is staring at me and wondering who even let me in. I'm not as pretty as these people. I'm not famous. I don't even know how to order alcohol. I hope you like vodka, Lincoln says as he hands me the drink. It's a Moscow Mule. The bartender told me that you ordered vodka earlier, so I assumed it was a safe bet. Yeah, I say after faking a laugh. The vodka was different, though. It was better. It made me feel so much more alive. I drank so many more of those Moscow Mules, and I couldn't stop laughing at everything Lincoln said. I was having so much more fun than I thought I could. I don't remember much of what happened after that point in the night until the incident. Hey, Lincoln whispers in my ear. Let's go get a hotel room. Okay, I reply all giggly. I'll drive, I say, and we're both way too hammered to understand how terrible of an idea this is. I don't remember much of the drive either. I remember that the lines in the road were squiggly and not straight like they normally are. The red lights and green lights all looked the same. I couldn't tell if cars were coming towards me or going away from me. And before I could comprehend what happened, I'm upside down in my car with blood pouring down my face. I remember nothing at all after that until I woke up in the hospital to my life being over. Not literally. However, at this point, I wish it was. What is this? My mom says frantically, holding up a magazine with a picture of Lincoln and I kissing in my car with the headline, Hollywood sweetheart cheats on co-star boyfriend and faces DUI charges. I kind of thought my mom would be more relieved that I'm alright, but when has she ever cared about anything other than my career? I was drunk. The excuse made sense in my head, but obviously that wasn't going to appease my mother. How could you be so stupid? There go your future roles. No one wants to hire a teenage drunken slut. I've never hated my mother more than I do in this moment. Most mothers wrap their arms around their children and thank God they're alright when they get in a car accident, not call their kids drunken sluts. Maybe I'm glad it's over. Maybe I hated every minute of this stupid Hollywood life, I reply, with more anger than I've ever directed at anyone in my life. Shut up! My mom snaps back with even more anger than I gave her. That's a lie and you know it. I can't stand the person you become, Lila, Mom says as she slams the door and storms out of the hospital room. I lay there and sob, because my mom hates me, the world hates me, and that car wreck didn't kill me. My sobs are so loud that I didn't notice that I was no longer alone in the room. What's wrong, sweetheart? A voice says softly beside me. I look up and see a nurse with smooth mocha skin and curly dark hair pulled back in a bun. Her dark eyes are wide and radiate something I've never seen before. I can't explain what it is, but I can't help but confide in her. Am I going to die? I reply in between sobs. No, sweetheart, you're going to have a quick and easy recovery, she replies sweetly. What a shame! I yell and roll back over and sob to the point of heaving. I feel a warm hand against my back. Now, sweetheart, why would you say something like that? The nurse asks softly and not accusatory. What's the point in living? I say through my tears. I've ruined my life anyway. My mom hates me. My fans hate me. I'll never get another acting job. Don't say that, she says somehow both harshly and sweetly. I know your mama loves you. She's just having a hard time right now like you are, she says, stroking my hair. I roll over and look at her. Why are you being so nice to me? I say suspiciously. Because I know how you feel, she replies. Yeah, right, I snap before she can finish. Just leave me alone. Okay, but if you need anything. My name is Nurse Kiana, she says before leaving the room. I'm once again left alone with my thoughts. I cry myself to sleep. Chapter 4. I've been out of the hospital for about a week now, and I haven't heard from Serenity. I've called her multiple times and she hasn't picked up. I'm starting to get worried. I drive to her house to check on her, but my license has been suspended. And there's no way my mom would drive me over there. She hates Serenity now, since she's the one that brought me to the party. I call for what feels like the 100th time, and she finally answers. Listen, Lila, she says shortly and with almost no emotion. I don't think we should be friends anymore. Then I realize, I was supposed to take her home after the party, and I ditched her for Lincoln. I had completely forgot. Oh my gosh, I say after my realization, you must hate me. I forgot to take you home at the party. Well, that was pretty crappy of you, but it's fine. Ben called us an Uber. But that's not the issue, she replies. Then what's wrong? I ask confused. I just don't think it's good for my image to be associated with you anymore, she says. What? I say louder than I intend to. You drink and make out with guys all the time. Yes, but I'm careful about it. I know how to not get caught by paparazzi. I have a really clean image right now, and being seen with Hollywood's newest teen rebel would be really bad for me, she says. I'm in shock. I don't know what to say. But, I stammer, trying to form some kind of coherent sentence. This conversation is over, Lila, Serenity says, and then hangs up. I fall to the floor in tears. I've now lost my only friend. Chapter 5. It's been a week since Serenity ended our friendship. I've had my court hearing for my DUI. Luckily, I was able to pay my bail, but of course my license is suspended for a year. A few days after my hearing, I get a call from Lincoln. Apparently at some point during the party we exchanged numbers. I'm paranoid because I'm expecting another Serenity situation. But I answer because that night was the first night we met. He could just ignore me if he wanted to. There's no relationship to end. But why would he call me? I have to know. Hello? I say nervously as I answer the phone. Hey, Lila, he says as if he's excited to talk to me. I feel my nerves melt away and begin to get butterflies. I heard you were able to pay your bail. That's great. Yeah, thanks, I reply, a little disappointed because that's the first thing he said to me. But at least it was nice, I guess. I'm glad you're okay, he says. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay too. I'm really sorry about the wreck. I never should have tried to drive when I was that drunk. It was really stupid of me, I say. It's okay, he says. I was really drunk too, and didn't stop you, so I'm partially at fault too. We're both okay though, and you got off pretty easy, and that's all that matters, he says, and I can somehow see that gorgeous smile through the phone. Thanks for being so cool about all this. It really means a lot, I reply, glad that he can't see me blushing through the phone. Yeah, no problem, he says sweetly. Hey, would you want to come over to my place and hang out tonight? Yeah, sure, I say, trying to hide my excitement. Awesome. I'll pick you up at 8, he says, and I can see him wink through the phone. My stomach churns all day as I wait for Lincoln to arrive. And finally, at 8:04 p.m., the doorbell rings. I force myself not to sprint to the door, and I open it as casually and leisurely as possible. You ready? He says with a smile. You bet, I reply and immediately regret it after hearing how dorky it sounds. The ride to Lincoln's house is fun. We sing, laugh, and talk about life. I really feel myself falling for this guy. The drive to Lincoln's house is a lot further than I expected, but I don't mind it. I could stay in this car with him forever. Finally, Lincoln pulls off to the edge of a side road. Where are we? I ask confused. Before I can comprehend what's happening, Lincoln smashes a large rock over my head. I scream, and everything goes black. Chapter 6. I see lights flashing. I'm trying to sleep, but these lights won't stop flashing. I finally decide to open my eyes and figure out what these flashing lights are that are interrupting my sleep. I open them slowly at first, then quickly once I process what I'm seeing. There's a group of people standing over me taking pictures. I look down. My pants are not on. They're laying next to me on the ground. I put them on quickly. My head throbs. Finally, I gather my thoughts and process what happened. I start to sob. I hear sirens as an ambulance pulls up. "Everyone get out of the way!" a large EMT says as he pushes through the crowd. I try to stand and walk to him, but collapse, and once again, everything is black. I wake up to a familiar tile ceiling and beige walls. Great. I'm back in the hospital, I think to myself. I roll over and see my phone on the table beside my bed. I grab it and see a text from my mom. It's a screenshot of a news article. There's a picture of me laying on the ground pantsless next to a bloody rock. The headline reads, "Hollywood's latest teen rebel knocks herself out after passing out drunk and pantsless on a rock." My stomach drops. I read the message my mom sent with the picture. "I give up," it reads. "You are too far gone. You are no longer welcome in my house, nor will you ever hear from me again. I am embarrassed to be associated with you." I throw my phone down on the ground and sob. As if on cue, a soft voice from behind says, "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I look up to see Nurse Kiana, and her dark brown eyes once again filled with concern. "Will I die this time?" I reply in a snarky tone. "No, but we do need to talk about something, Lila," she replies in the most straightforward tone I've heard Nurse Kiana speak in. "What's that?" I ask, confused and slightly concerned. "Do you remember what happened the night of your injury?" she asks. "You wouldn't believe me," I said, rolling away from her. "I will, Lila. I know you weren't drunk. There wasn't a trace of alcohol found in your system. Now tell me what happened," she says in her normal sweet Nurse Kiana voice. My eyes widen in both shock and relief. I think Lincoln, a friend I was with earlier that night, hit me with a rock, but I'm not sure why," I reply. "Do you remember anything after you were hit?" she asks. "No, just waking up to paparazzi," I reply. She sighs, and her eyes grow more concerned. "Lila," she says softly, "a test was done, and your body shows signs of sexual abuse." My stomach drops. I feel nauseous. It was obvious. Why else would my pants have been off? Yet, still everyone thinks it's my own drunken fault. I sob harder than I've ever sobbed in my life. I'm immediately embraced in a hug. "You're going to get through this, sweetheart," Nurse Kiana says gently. "I'm here for you, and so is God. We both love you and won't allow you to suffer alone," she says, her hug tightening. "Let me pray for you," she says. "Lord, I thank you for Lila and the strong, sweet girl that she is. I pray that you will heal her physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Show her your faithfulness and unending love. I know you will do amazing things in this sweet girl's life. I love you and praise you for that, Lord. In Christ's name, amen," she prays. In this moment, I truly believe I experienced real, actual, meaningful love for the first time. Chapter 7. The next morning, Nurse Kiana brings me a huge breakfast tray with French toast, eggs, and fruit. "I'm not hungry," I say as she places it in front of me. "Sweetheart, you have to eat," she says. "That's something else we're concerned about. You're severely underweight, and we can't let you leave until you're at least on the road to recovery." "Yeah, I'm bulimic," I say very matter-of-factly. It's pretty obvious, and Nurse Kiana already knows every personal thing about me anyway. Besides, at this point, bulimia is the smallest issue in my life. I start to eat just to please Nurse Kiana, then I remember. I have nowhere to go when I leave. I have to stay here as long as possible or I'm homeless. I put down my fork. "Will you please eat?" she says. "I'm just not hungry," I reply. "Lila," she says, "you were about to eat. You picked up your fork, then put it down. Now tell me, what's going on?" she says in a somehow stern yet sweet voice. I don't know why, but I feel like I can trust Nurse Kiana, who I've only known for a couple weeks, better than anyone I've ever met in my life. So I tell her everything. I tell her that my mom hates me and never wants to see me again. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, she says as she embraces me in one of her warm hugs. I look up at her, tears welling in my eyes. Will you pray for me again? I ask softly. Absolutely, she says. As she prays, I hear the confidence in her voice. The confidence she has in God that He will do what she asks. When she finishes praying, I say, Nurse Kiana, if you don't mind me asking, I remember when we first met, you said you understood what I'm going through. Could you explain what you mean? Sure, she says with a smile. When I was about your age, my mom passed away with cancer. I didn't know what to do. How could I go on after such a tragedy? To cope, I started smoking, drinking, and doing every drug imaginable. None of it helped, though. I continued to feel empty and hopeless. One day, I overdosed and was rushed to the hospital. My jaw is on the floor. This is not the Nurse Kiana I know. No way, I say, shocked. I can't even imagine that. She chuckles, then says, That's because Jesus changed my life. When I was in rehab after my overdose, I met a nurse who had the kindest heart. One day, she explained to me that the hole in my heart that I tried to fill with drugs and alcohol could only be filled by Jesus. She explained to me that God originally created the earth according to His perfect design. Everything was perfect. There was no sin, pain, or death. Humans lived in perfect harmony with God. God gave Adam and Eve, the first humans, one rule: not to eat of the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But they disobeyed. They ate the fruit, which caused sin, death, and pain to enter the world. Since God is perfect and holy, He can't be in the presence of sin, so this caused humans to be separated from God. But God had a plan. He sent Jesus, His perfect Son, to live a perfect, sinless life on earth. Jesus then died on the cross in place of us and our sin. He rose again 3 days later and defeated death forever. If we believe in Jesus and what He did for us, we will be saved and have hope because we will one day live forever in heaven with Him in perfect harmony, just as God originally intended. You believe that? I asked skeptically. I do, Lila. I believed because I couldn't find hope anywhere else. I was skeptical at first too, but He proved to me how good and faithful He is. How else could a depressed drug addict end up working at a hospital and serving others? She says. As she talks, my heart starts racing. My stomach feels tight. I don't know what's going on, but before I can even process anything, I blurt out, I need Jesus. Nurse Kiana looks shocked for a second, then smiles. Acts 16:31 in the Bible says, Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved. Do you believe in Him, Lila? Do you believe that He died to save you from your sin and rose again? She asks. Yes, I shout with tears running down my face, and at that moment, I say that one word. I feel the most peace and unexplainable joy I have ever felt. I know this is real. Nurse Kiana hugs me, and now we're both crying. But these are tears of joy. You know, when I became a nurse, I wanted to invest in someone spiritually, the way that rehab nurse invested in me. I've prayed my whole career for God to send me someone that He could work through me to reach. You are the answer to my prayer, Lila, Nurse Kiana says with a smile and a tear rolling down her cheek. For the first time in years, I feel okay. I feel like I will be okay. I don't want to die anymore. Epilogue. It's been 2 months since the day I accepted Christ. 2 months since my life was forever changed. I am now at a healthy weight in living with Nurse Kiana and her family. My mom still refuses to talk to me, but Nurse Kiana was kind enough to take me in. I attend church with her and her family every Sunday, and I have never felt more loved and welcomed by a group of people in my life. I've taken a break from film acting, but I did join the church drama team. I realized that acting is a lot more fun without all the pressure and stress I've always associated it with. Life is still hard, but it's so much better with Jesus. I have that hope now that Nurse Kiana talked about. I have absolutely no idea what my future holds, but I know that with God, it'll be great. That one word, that 3-letter word, the word I said at 10 years old that I thought had ruined my life forever. I'm so grateful for that word, because now, that word has changed my life forever. The day I said yes to acting seemed to be the day that my life ended. But the day I said yes to God was the day my life began.